Hi there, everybody. Welcome back to Prestige Auctions. It's podcast time again. And this one, we believe, is either episode 7 or 8. I'm not sure. You'll see which one it is, of course, in the title. Well, today, I've got somebody else sat with me. Chris is not here. Chris is sunning himself or hiding from the rain, one of the two, in France at the moment, enjoying himself. He's already sent me some pictures. And, of course, we did Albert last week from the filming that we did in Doha in Qatar. And that was a fantastic podcast. A lot of people have left comments on the podcast about that one, saying that they really enjoyed it. And this is what really brings us on to this week's subject, which I'm going to talk to you about in just a minute. But before we go any further, I want to introduce you to Tom. Say hi, Tom.
Hi.
So this is Tom. Tom, he works for us now at Prestige, and he's been with us, what?
7 months.
About 7 months. Is it that April. Long already?
April I started.
Oh my God! And you're heading into your first winter at Prestige, but we put a heating system in just for you, I reckon. Yeah, you didn't have to sit through one of the Baltic winters that we've had to put up with at Prestige. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to talk to Tom in just a moment, okay? But there's a couple of things I want to go through first. Well, of course, you may have seen since the last one of these that we did the announcement about the Elvis Presley auction. Well, that's exciting times. That you've seen some of the stuff as well, haven't you, Tom? And there's one or two questions that have been made about stuff online, and that's all good. We're trying to address them the best we can. We're looking forward to this one. It's having a bit of a media attention. The BBC have been involved. Sky are looking at it as well as one or two daily papers. So hopefully, little old Grimsby will be doing a fantastic auction on Elvis. So let's just, we'll come to today's subject very soon. So keep watching. We're going to come to today's subject. It's quite an interesting one. So, Tom, you've been with us, 7 months now?
Yes.
How are you finding it?
I love it.
What's it like being a member of the Prestige team?
I love it, but it's crazy.
I think you're right there. It's not like a normal job, is it?
You got to be a bit...
I think you've got to be a bit mad to work here. I think if you look back at the sort of the general normal auction rooms, I always say normal auction rooms, they're nothing like this.
No,
they're nothing like this. One eye all the time, of course, when you're doing this sort of work is one eye is making sure that the job's done properly and the business is done correctly, but the other eye is making sure that the customers are happy. And when you look at the other auction rooms and that aren't so helpful, we tend to push that bit further, I think. Do you not think?
I think so.
So what's your favourite bits of the job?
Ooh. Sunday's my favourite day.
Sunday's your favourite day?
When we clear it all out.
Yeah, it is. I think it's always quite interesting when you are working at Prestige. Just bear in mind, if this is the first time you're watching Prestige podcast, we are an extremely busy auction room. We do general sales every week, but we do anywhere sort of between 12 and 1,500 lots on a weekly basis. To turn that round weekly is a massive, massive task. And of course, on a Sunday, what Tom's talking about there is the Sunday is when all the stuff goes out the room.
Out.
Monday it comes in and so on. But Monday, I mean, of course, everyone knows that watches our podcast. They know that we film this on a Monday afternoon, and it goes out on a Friday evening. But what do you actually think to the way that we fill the room on a Monday? It's a long, hard day, isn't it?
It's the hardest day, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I don't want to say stressful, but
can the customers be a little bit demanding sometimes?
Yes.
What's the thing that stresses you out most about the customers? I know what it is mine on a Monday.
I tell them every week, anytime after 10.
Yeah.
And they all pile in between 10 and 11, then moan that they've got to wait.
Yeah.
It's the worst bit.
It's always a hard one. I mean, I always think that it's a bit interesting because people still think they can ring up the auction room on a week-to-week basis and say, I've got some stuff that I want to drop in. Shall I drop it in tomorrow? If only it was that simple. Our premises are just not big enough. You know that.
Yeah.
Even with Prestige Clearance taking over this side of the building now, there's still just not enough room to do that for people. So, but there is a reason why people have to wait. Do you know what stresses me out on a Monday? When I'm in there, I mean, to be fair to you guys, I'm not in there that often on a Monday, so I'm normally out on quotes all day. But you've had the pleasure of me most of the day.
We have today.
The thing that stresses me out the most is when somebody comes up to the door and they've booked in 10 lots and they've got 20.
Oh, yeah.
And they think that's okay. And to them it is okay because it's only a few more lots, but every time you add a lot, I mean, we try to work it out to get the maximum amount we can in the room, but when you add another lot, you add another few seconds onto the auction, another 15, 20, 30 seconds.
If everybody came with 2 or 3 extra lots, then the room would be, it wouldn't all fit in, would it?
Makes it hard, doesn't it? And so there's the burning question then. No, don't worry, no one else will see this. How are you getting on with Lisa?
I get on all right with Lisa.
Yeah?
I do, yeah.
She's a bit of a taskmaster, isn't she?
I knew this was coming. Yes.
Yes.
I hope you're editing some of this.
See, the thing is, you see, I know Lisa of old, and I know that Lisa's heart is that big.
Yes.
Yeah. But she just... I'm going to take you back.
She wears it here.
Oh, God, yeah. I'm going to take you back, right? Before now, obviously, you used to come to the auction as a customer.
I did.
Years ago. And then, of course, back in them days, things were a lot different. Well, when we very first started this auction business, and it was me and Diane that was running the room, and Lisa still had the shop on Wilton Road. It was a disaster because I was just so unorganised. I admit that I was so unorganised, and Lisa came down here. Me and Lisa would have many, many, many arguments about how it should be done, and Lisa literally in the end said, "If you want my help, you've got to do it my way." And I fought against her. I didn't like the fact that we weren't just taking off people and all the rest of it. I thought we'd lose customers and all the rest of it. She went, "We're going to put a booking system in. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to do the other." And I fought against it tooth and nail. I lost, of course. But to be fair to Lisa, look at it now.
It does work quite well, doesn't it?
It does work well. And it can be hard enough working there without people messing you up and getting things, she has it in a certain order. So, I think a lot of people find Lisa sometimes quite boisterous to a degree, but actually what she is just organised. And when people want to change things to the way she's actually doing them, she doesn't like it.
It has took me a while to try and get my brain in the same gear as what Lisa's is. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think, to be fair to Lisa, anybody that wants to work in the auction room has got no choice.
No,
you've got to do it Lisa's way, because Lisa's way is actually a good way, and I'm probably the only one that can say that from experience, because I know how unorganised it was at the start with me at the helm, and I was just the trouble is, I was trying to do everything. I was trying to do what Lisa does now, as well as doing quotes and this, that, the other. And there just weren't enough hours in the day. So I'd go out, I'd come back, and there'd be stuff in the car park and all sorts waiting to come in and trying to get it sorted. Lisa would come from work and she'd spend the next sort of 4 or 5 hours organising it all. So thank God for Lisa, really. She does do a fantastic job out there. And the thing is, even 1 or 2 customers have said in the past, I'm not asking her. I'm not, because they know she'll put it the way it is. And she doesn't mean it. She doesn't mean it harshly. It's just the way she is.
It's got to be.
There's no point trying to smooth things out. I say I'm forever the person that will be, okay, let's see what we can do. And Lisa's like, no, let's not see what we can do. We can't do it. And and then sometimes people have to get used to that. But I think it's quite interesting sitting down with somebody like yourself, who's obviously.
I do think that's the difference with me and Lisa, though.
Mm.
I'm a bit more laid back, a bit more like you, Carl. Whereas I would think, let's see what I can do for him. Whereas Lisa would just go, no, that's the rules.
Yeah,
you come back next week, or it's next Friday, or whereas I always think, well, they might not come back.
Yeah, this
they might
is
take it somewhere else.
And I am always of that opinion as well. And I think that's the old dealer coming out in me. Somebody turns up with a box of stuff, and you think, well, hang on, if I don't take it now, they're going to take it somewhere else.
Will have it.
And so, we will always try to accommodate where possible. And I think Lisa has sort of mellowed to that a little bit. And I think if I'm honest, I think putting the calming influence of you working with her most of the time, in fact, all of the time, has probably helped her a little bit to maybe chill out a little bit. And I think what people see, Lisa will listen to other people, just not me. That's just the
Maybe you should give somebody else your idea and then let them
yeah,
pass it
and then push it to you. But no, I mean the thing is the auction room ticks along quite nicely. So you've got Monday that's intake day, which is a bit manic, to say the least, isn't it?
Yes.
And then of course you've had to get used to trying to film me doing the sneak peek, haven't you, at the
Yes.
start of the day, which
Yeah.
is I want the zoom in and all the rest of it. And if the people out there in YouTube land could see some of the outtakes.
How many takes did it take us that one day? About 10?
Oh God, just to do an intro on it, and but we stand there laughing, and I think that's important. And I think the when we talk about this, it's about our customers. I think to a degree, it's also about our staff as well. We don't really have any hierarchy here, do we? Everyone's just a team member. We come in, get the job done. There are times when you need to clamp down on one or two things, but ultimately, we just want to get in, get the job done, all get paid, because that's important. If this auction room doesn't operate properly, nobody gets paid. It's as simple as that. And touch wood, to this day, we've never struggled to pay somebody once. And I think that's testament to what's done out there and what the whole team do. The whole team, right through the clearance, through the auction, it's important. So you got that, and then Tuesday's lotting up day as well. And how do you find that? I hate it. I can't say I enjoy lotting up. I think
I've finally mastered it, Carl. I've done 2 weeks with no missing lots.
No, this is
no
true.
Nothing up the computer.
No.
So I think it's only took me about 7 months, and I finally got there. But
do you enjoy that a bit more instead of just lotting up and being the shouter, shouting out the stuff? Is it a bit better now you're doing a bit of the computer
a bit of both,
as well?
Yeah. It gives us both a break.
Sort of breaks it up a little bit, yeah.
It gets monotonous for the person putting the sticker on, if that makes sense.
Then Wednesdays.
It's my day off.
Wednesdays is sometimes your day off. But sometimes there's a specialist sale on. And then you're doing a bit of clerking for us as well. How you found that?
I'm getting used to it.
Boring.
It's enjoyable, but yeah, the time seems to not be as like a Saturday. It's bam, 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 bang, bang, and we're out. And a special sale's a bit more chilled, a bit more plod along.
Yeah, it's just a lot slower, isn't it? And it's a bit more exciting sometimes with the prices, but that's just the other side of it. I mean, ultimately, selling one item is the same as selling the next. So what about then you got Thursday, which is your day off, and then Friday. Well, Friday you spend the whole day here, and then that's when you start spending a lot of time with the customers. And
I like Fridays.
I think we've got a good bunch of customers here, don't you? I'm not just saying that because we're on a podcast and people watch it, but do you know what? I mean, any bad elements, we tend to get rid of them, don't we? Or they don't stay because everyone else is nice and they can't cope with that.
I know. They're onto them, aren't they?
Yeah, I think that generally across the board here, the kind of customers that we get at Prestige are pretty good people. And then, of course, we come through to Saturday, which is auction day, which is a little bit crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, I like Saturdays though, because it goes quick because I'm here, there and everywhere on a Saturday.
Yeah, you are kind of a jack of all trades.
On a Saturday, I've got to be there and then I've got to be there.
Do you do a bit of the coffee shop now as well?
I give Violet air break, yeah.
You see, I don't say that because you're around the corner, and of course I'm tied up at the podium at that point, so I can't. I started calling it the rostrum recently, and my eldest son started giving me some jip about it. He went rostrum, which is the actual name, but because I've so many years called it the podium, it was like I started calling it the rostrum and getting grief off my kids. But there you go. So Saturday can be a bit different as well. And what do you think to the way that we do things here at Prestige in terms of how we insist that porters help people and all the rest of it against a lot of auction rooms that don't do that? They don't help.
I think it's good in the fact that people can't just take what they like. Yeah. If we have to mark it off that sheet, then they get what the number is. Whereas if they're just taking it, then you've got no way of tracing. Well, we have because we've got cameras, but we can't.
But what I think the other auction rooms do is they do sort of pass the person, but at that point, that's where their job stops.
Yeah.
They're not going to help you to your car with it, and they're not going to pack it for you or anything like that. Whereas I like to think we go a little bit over and beyond with people just to try and, make their experience of coming to an auction room a little bit better. And then, of course, Saturdays are done, and then you're into Sunday again, which is your favourite day. it's an interesting one. I thought this last week we had quite an interesting week in terms of the auction. We broke all records in the auction this week in terms of sales, hammer, amount of lots, and the speed that we got through the auction as well. And again, that is a testament to the whole team at Prestige and the way that things are done. What I would say, though, once again, is we had items not selling in that auction room this weekend, which I felt sure people could have made money on. The Blue Suite, for instance. I keep going on about this Blue Suite.
I can't believe that didn't sell for £3.
For £3. Why did a local second-hand dealer not pick that up? Or any second-hand dealer? So I am pushing this out there. Second-hand dealers all over the place. We want you to come to Prestige Auctions and start getting involved with this bidding, because do you know what? There is, and I keep getting a bollocking as well for saying, do you know what? So they're doing counts on how many times I say it in a video, so I've got to keep my eye on that one. But what I want to say to all second-hand dealers or side hustlers out there, if you've got a little bit of space, a garage, a lockup or whatever, and you can start buying this stuff for a few pounds and putting it on Facebook Marketplace. I see Facebook Marketplace on a Saturday night littered with stuff out of this auction. People that are paying sort of £3, £4, £5, £6, £7 for, and they're asking £40s and £50 for it, and they're selling it. Who wouldn't want to earn that bit of extra money? Do you sell anything on the side? Do you ever go ever?
Not really.
I see.
I bought some stamps, didn't I? And I did make some money back on them, but I didn't really know what I was doing.
But you had a go.
I had a go. I bought a box for 20 quid and I sold them for about 50, so I did make money.
Do you know what? If somebody said to you every week,
buy this for 20
Tom,
quid and
here's your wages, do this and I'll double it, would you do it?
Yeah.
Of course you would. This is the thing, and this is the thing about selling and side hustling, that once you get used to it, you know, there is really good money to be made. And I can tell you, right, so don't tell anybody this, but obviously Chris isn't here. Okay, so we're going to talk about the challenge while he's not here.
Okay.
So we had this £20 challenge going, and by my own admission, and I think this is an interesting one to admit to as well, is that because that week one I didn't check the auction, I did everything that I told people not to do. I completely messed it up. And most of the stuff is still sat there, hard to sell and all the rest of it. So Chris doesn't know this yet, but next week we are setting the reset button on the challenge. I've got to get my head on and do it properly. Okay, so we're going to be restarting the challenge, but what we're going to be doing is asking people to play along with us by following our simple rules. Come to the auction, buying a few bits. Let's see how much money, and we'll do a leaderboard. Let's see how much money people can get put away in 52 weeks. But Chris doesn't know that yet because Chris is working hard to sell all this stuff. Good thing is, he might give me 20 quid back, and he'll make a few quid when we press the reset button. Anyway, on to today's subject. Well, today's subject is going to be probably a little bit tricky for you to have an opinion on, maybe, but we shall see. Right, I'm saying this directly to the camera because I want this to go out there. So, Prestige Auctions, we are not like other auction rooms. We are a privately owned business, family run, and lots of auction rooms, the first thing they will do if you start filming in one of their auction rooms is go, no, you're not allowed. I don't want you filming in here. I don't know what they've got to hide, to be honest. I have no issue with people filming in our auction room. So I am putting a direct message out to all YouTubers. YouTubers that want to do, that are making video content, or TikTokers or whatever. You are more than welcome to come to Prestige Auctions and film your content. Okay? Obviously, it would be nice for you to give us a heads up if you're going to film in the room, so we're not talking about anything private if we're doing valuations or anything like that. But this is a message to all YouTubers. Don't matter if you're doing reselling sites, car booting sites, auction sites, sales sites, valuation sites, whatever you are, then come and video in this auction room. Come and get involved. We have had people coming from as far as Cornwall into the auction room to buy things and side hustle them and do videos about them. So we can help you create your content whilst also raising our exposure. That's what YouTube should be about. Everybody helping each other out. And also, so that is the direct invitation to everybody, that if you want to come and film content for reselling sites and anything else like that, then come down and talk to us and get filming in the auction room. You know, one or two are already doing it. I think there's 3 or 4 actually that are coming in and filming stuff. So if you want to film in a real life environment, we don't mind you filming us, the auctioneer and all the rest of it and what's going on. We've nothing to hide here. So come down. If you want to get involved, this is an open invitation to all of you. And then secondly, what do you think to that one first? So what do you think to that? Do you think that's a good idea?
Well, yeah,
it's publicity for us, but I think, you know, it's hard for us to sit here with our own YouTube channel and say to people, don't film in the auction room. I want people to film in the auction room.
Like you say, if you've got nothing to hide, then what?
No, if you've got nothing to hide,
getting us out there, isn't it?
You know, I mean, as long as nobody comes in and starts doing stupid stuff, you know, like start doing these pranks and that, then I won't be too impressed about that. But if you're a reseller or whatever, what's better than actually getting out into a real life environment and filming the content?
Seeing it for real, yeah.
Have you seen any of these things on YouTube where people film themselves, the resellers that go around the boot sales and that?
I have, yeah.
And I actually find that quite interesting. Yeah. But you can do exactly the same in prestige auctions. You can come in, you can film the viewing days, you can film the items that you're interested in, and then you can film on auction day, you bidding on the auction, you buying the item, you're missing out on the item because there are highs and lows when it comes to the auction room. But then once all that's done, then, you know, you can also edit it after the auction's finished. So then you're not giving it away, are you? Because the auction's been and gone. Whereas what I would say to do is probably don't do the video for viewing day and then put it out straight away, because then you're showing other people what's there. Although I'd love that, you know, I don't think it's going to be any good for you. You're just going to create bids. And just remember this: prestige auctions for the general sales that we do weekly are not online. So you've got to come to the auction room to bid. So people can't just jump on and start bidding online willy-nilly, which makes it better. But I want to take it one step further, Tom.
Right.
We want to put it out there to all of you YouTubers, big or small, that we are going to be completely altering the format of our podcast. Now, we want to talk to anybody out there, whether you're a YouTuber or not. Each week, we want to look at bringing on a different guest onto the podcast, which will mainly be with me and Chris. And then we're going to change the format in here. We're putting a table in with bench stools and all the rest of it. And we want to sort of get sometimes maybe 1, maybe 2 people around the table to get some different opinions on different things. Now, it hasn't just got to be about auctions. It can be about anything, really. So, So Tom, I don't think you mind me talking about this. What did you used to do before you came here?
I was a bookmaker.
You was a bookmaker. Oh, I can hear the cringes now. You know, bookmaker is almost similar to saying you work for HMRC, isn't it?
Yeah.
How was that industry?
I enjoyed my job. I didn't enjoy the company I worked for.
Right. We'll remain them as nameless.
Yes,
okay.
I'll leave them.
But I know who you used to work for, and did it sort of turn into a bit of a sort of a big company syndrome?
Yes. He was just a number. He didn't mean anything.
I don't mind saying.
Just be replaced.
I don't mind. Everyone knows who I used to work for. I used to work for Youngs, and they did something very similar. We went from being Bluecrest, and as they got bigger and bigger and bigger, it got less and less personal.
Yeah.
And I thought that was quite a shame, really. And was that similar where you was at?
Kind of, yeah.
Only interested in the bottom line. If your face fits and all the rest of it.
Yeah, if your face fitted, you was all right. It was just... It was as if that was your life. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Was my life.
Yeah.
But they didn't expect you to, like when it was your days off, if somebody rang in sick, you wasn't allowed to have made plans for your day off. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
They expected you to have nothing better to do than 24/7 be thinking about work.
Yeah.
I know a lot of jobs are like that, but
I suppose that you see a little bit of a difference from working in the bookies then to coming here, where you're not working corporate anymore. You're working for a small business where they treat you more like a human being.
Definitely.
You know, if you went into Lisa with any problems, she would help you.
Yes.
You know, and I don't think you get that from big business anymore. You really don't. You know, they let's face it, the owner of that business does not know who you are.
Oh, like I just said, I was a number. I was a number on his pay sheet.
Yeah, and that's that. And so, I mean, you must see a big difference, though. I mean, so big question is, you don't have to tell me names, but so any of the customers that come in here now, did they frequent the bookies?
Yes, I see a few.
Everyone likes a flutter, though, don't they?
I do see a few of them.
And I think that's a hell of a thing. But the point I was coming to there, when it comes to the podcast, is I want to get people on with different opinions. Now, what I would like to do, of course, I would like to start off with getting other local people from Grimsby, Cleethorpes area, whether in business or not. It would help if you're in business to be able to talk about, or if you've got a community group or whatever that you just want to sort of plug a little bit. You know, we've kept you on the settee here or on the new table that we're going to get. And we can sort of quiz you on a few things, and you can quiz us about the auction on a few things. We want to make the podcast a little bit more interesting. And also, but what I'd love to do, I'd love to start getting some podcasts done, talking to some bigger names on YouTube. You know, I mean, one guy I'd love to absolutely interview is Adam. I think it's Adam. Beard Meets Food. You ever watched it?
No.
Oh my God! You know, when you watch a lot of YouTube, like I do, which is why I love YouTube so much. But when you watch a lot of YouTube, what you find is the most popular people out there are the nice people.
Yeah.
You know, anyone can go out there and prank people and do all the rest of it and try and get hits and likes that way. But to actually build up a channel where you're a nice person, I think people warm to that. Yeah, you've got to be doing something a little bit interesting, like we do here. We do something a little bit interesting into people. A lot of people are interested in buying and selling. But when you look at Beard Meets Food, for instance, who's a massive YouTuber now, he's got well over 2 million followers, and all he does is eating challenges. But he's a nice guy, and that's it, and that shines through. You know, some other people that I watch. I mean, I've got to say, I got well into the auditing thing, watching the auditors, the ones that go around and film people. And granted, some of them just film people for reactions. That's where the entertainment value comes. But of course, I started watching them, and I got addicted to DJ Audits. Now, again, DJ Audits, he's a nice guy. And this shines through in his videos. So, DJ, if you are watching this and you ever fancy coming, you can sit with your mask on, of course, because you remain faceless. But if you ever fancy coming on a podcast with us up here in Grimsby, I could certainly give you a few places to go and audit. We could talk about at the same time. I'd love to speak to DJ Audits. I would love to speak to Beard Meets Food. I'd love to speak to. There's a massive American channel called Outdoor Boys. They've got like 9 or 10 million viewers.
Oh, yeah.
And they do sort of videos in Alaska and that. And again, really nice family, really nice guy. Love watching his content. And but I'd like to start speaking to all the YouTubers, getting them on the podcast. You know, if they're in the area, come and sit down, have a coffee with us, and let's talk about a few things about YouTube and about the industry that you're in and the industry that we're in. And when you start looking, you know, I'd love to interview some of the auditors, because I think they've just had an idea of how to make content, which is what we're trying to do here at Prestige. We're trying to make content that people might just find a little bit interesting to watch, because I sit there loads of nights just on my iPad
scrolling,
not watching the telly.
The amount of people that do that now, though, say they ain't got a TV license, they just watch YouTube or Netflix, or
because it's more interesting than what's on the telly. But no, I mean, I'd love to get some local people. I'd love to get Jason Stockwood on, who's the owner of Grimsby Town, and because he's a local guy that's done well. I'd love to get Jason on. I'd love to get one or two local councillors on, not to have a go at them, but to actually talk about. See, the thing is, we've tried to show this in some of our videos, Tom, that we're very proud of where we come from. Grimsby and Cleethorpes, you know, although I spent a few years on the Isle of Wight, this has been where I grew up mainly and where I spent most of my adult life. And I get sick and tired of watching YouTubers come to this town and slag the place off. And it really, really grates on me. So I want to talk on our podcasts, not just about our businesses, but about everything that's great about Grimsby and Cleethorpes, and also talk about other people's businesses as well. And there's no better platform to do it than on places like YouTube. and Facebook and all the rest of it. And we're getting up there to a couple of thousand subscribers at the minute, which is starting to get significant. And that's just keep growing and growing and growing. So if you are a YouTuber out there in anything, any YouTuber, we want to sit down. We're gonna start forming a list. We want to talk to YouTubers. We want to talk to anybody local, any businesses and all the rest of it that think they could handle sitting in a studio in front of the lights and all the rest of it and just talking. It's not that difficult, is it, really?
No.
It's almost like you're just having a chat. It's just you've got cameras in front of you and stuff like that. And ultimately, I showed people last week, and I said, if you could see the other side of the camera, it's a right mess. But this side always looks better. So there you go. Open invite to everybody out there that wants to come on the podcast, especially if you're a side hustler or a YouTuber or whatever, then do reach out. We can make that happen for you. Tom, thank you ever so much for sitting in for our Chris. I think he's back next week.
That's all right then.
I'm not 100% sure, but keep up the good work for us. We do appreciate it, as we do appreciate every single member of our team down here at Prestige. But more than anything, we appreciate you guys for watching in every single week on all the stuff that we do and supporting our small family business in Grimsby. It's been another cracking podcast, and we're going to go away and be told what to do by Lisa in the auction room. Till next week, thank you ever so much for watching, and we'll see you all very soon at the auction.